So by just playing with the breath, you can actually change your state of mind. And this is where a lot of the techniques of the art of living come into being.
From the Garden State, New Jersey, from one mom to another, it's time for Mom's Talk. Here's Avani.
Welcome, Supermoms, to yet another episode of Mom's Talk. Today's guest is joining us from New York. She's the founder and CEO of Winged. She's also a chairperson, a board of director of Art of Living Foundation USA. Welcoming Ruchika Lal.
It's lovely to see you again, Ruchika.
Thank you so much, Avani, for having me. This is so much fun. Thank you.
Ruchika, you have been so successful in the corporate world. You did your MBA from Wharton. You've also been a VP at American Express. I wanted to know what made you shift from a successful corporate career to Winged?
It's a great question. So I came to this country, as I often say, on the wings of ambition, right? I came here to do my MBA. I wanted to achieve. I wanted to be on the cover of the Fortune, magazine, and be noted to be someone who's super successful. And then life has its own mind. So while I was in that journey, or was at B school, I met Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, right? And I realized in my interactions with him that I had no control over my mind. My mind was driving me rather than me driving my mind. And that is when I got deeper into meditation, the art of living. And for me, that has been the single biggest event that has changed the course of my life. So for me, of course, I stayed on the trajectory of achievement and ambition, but there was a parallel journey that had begun, which was an internal journey. And what is the purpose of my life? Why am I here? Like, even if I became supremely successful, what was the point of it all? And I saw senior leaders up close and personal because I was, working with them. And I realized no matter how successful you are on the outside, unless you're fulfilled and content from inside, it does not matter. We're trying to fill a lack on the inside with stuffing stuff from the outside, and it doesn't work. And that is when I decided, I do need to figure out what is it that I want to do. And meditation, the art of living, had given me so much that I didn't really have a choice but to find a way to kind of give it back in my own way to the West. And that is the genesis of Winged.
You're right, Ruchika. In this fast-paced world that we're all living in, we're all kind of chasing the career success. And in the process, we tend to forget what we actually like to do. It's like this. Everybody likes minting money. But what is imperative is the satisfaction that you get at the end of the day of doing what you like doing. I think this topic is so vast, and I would love to hear so much more from you. But we'll do that later. Right now, moving on to Winged. Such a cool name it is. Every time I hear this word, or even if I read it, there's a smile that comes on my face. What is the story behind Winged?
That's a great question. So for us, we wanted to make spirituality and all of these techniques far more mainstream. And for us, Winged is all about adulting joyfully. As kids, you can't wait to be an adult. I remember looking at all my mom's makeup and saying, when I grow older, I can use her lipsticks and I can wear high heels. Because for me, that was my idea of being a grown up, right? And for my brother, I remember he would use my father's shaving cream and put it on.
Shaving cream.
Right? And you think, oh my God, growing up is nirvana. But when you grow up, you're like, this is seeming like a lot of work. It's a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of commitment. So how do you bring back the joy that we had as children, the spontaneity, the play that we've lost as adults, right? And of course, a lot of the spiritual practices, the wisdom actually allows you to do that. So we wanted it to have fun in it. We wanted it to be playful. And also the inspiration behind Winged is Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. And if you've ever met him, he's one of the most playful and yet wise individuals on the planet. right? And his eyes sparkle. His eyes are so mischievous and so deep. So for me, that was the inspiration. And if you notice at the end of Wink, there is a exclamation.
Yeah.
That also comes from wisdom that Gurudev has given. He said, when you are in misery, you always have a question mark. And often that question mark can be, why me? Right? Why did this happen to me? Why me? Why my country? Why my family? Why? Right? But he says a sign of joy is when that question mark becomes an exclamation and it becomes a wonder. So I think Wink is completely inspired by Gurudev.
I like the way you said that there's an exclamation behind winged. I think now that I think about it, when you have a question mark, you kind of get lines on your forehead, but an exclamation is what is fun. It gives you a fun feeling. So it's wonderful. And what a beautiful, beautiful way of giving it back to the society. Art of living, meditation. I would love to know, Ruchika, how has meditation changed you as a person?
I can't even begin to tell you the transformation. So, it is true. It's connecting back to yourself. It's harmonizing the different layers of our existence, right? We're very conscious of the body. We might also think of the mind, but there's 7 levels or layers to our existence, right? There's the breath that we're completely not even realizing we're breathing right now. The intellect that is yes, no, right, wrong, should not, should. The memory, whether there can be trauma, also good memories over there. And then the ego. How do you harmonize all of these layers of your existence, right? Because the mind might be pulling you in one way and the intellect's telling you not to, right?
Yeah.
And it's a constant tussle that we also feel between the head and the heart. And for me, I lived in my head. It was a very, as a kid, I was super sensitive. And when you're very sensitive, you don't know how to deal with so much of emotion because you feel everything. So the thing for me was, how do I then, for me, it became a way to protect myself. So I went into my head because it was structured, logical, analytical, easy, safe. But without emotions, life is very dry. It's very mechanical, right? And absence of emotions is worry. If you can find your way out with laughter or tears or whatever, worry doesn't happen. It's when emotions dries, when worry happens. And for me, literally the last, when I came to the journey, I was in my head. Everything had to logically stack up, and life doesn't quite work that way. And for me, it has been a long but short journey of 14 inches from the head to the heart to a very large extent, and being comfortable in my skin and moving from judgment, which I was very judgmental about myself and other people, to acceptance. Everybody, including myself, is doing the best we can. And that needs to be applauded.
A lot of people are talking about meditation. It's very popular all over the world now. And along with that, there are many who are also complaining or saying that how hard it is to actually meditate. There are so many thoughts that come in your mind when you close your eyes, and unnecessary thoughts that come in. I would like to know this from you, since you've been practicing meditation for so long now. How do you manage to keep all those unnecessary thoughts away from your mind, get that calm, and meditate, actually meditate?
It's a great question. So I'll break it up a little bit. I think the first thing, right? I think we need to learn how to meditate. We just think closing our eyes and like, okay, closing my eyes is equal to meditation. It's not, right? It's a very natural state. As kids, we were in a meditative state, but we've lost it. So we need to find a way to kind of come back in. And the breath is an amazing way to kind of calm your entire system, right? Because breath can easily take you from parasympathetic to sympathetic nervous system easily, or vice versa, right? By changing your breath. And we also know that every emotion has a corresponding rhythm in the breath. So Avani, when you're very tired, you will realize you breathe in a certain way. It's like, when you're angry, I don't know if you get angry, but I can get a little irritable.
I think everybody does. It's the way of venting it out. I think that's a meditation too.
So when you're angry, you'll realize that your breath is shallow, right?
Mhm.
When you're in love, like, or very rested, your breath is very natural, inhale and exhale. When you're in shock, you hold your breath. And this is for everybody. So by just playing with the breath, you can actually change your state of mind. And this is where a lot of the techniques of the art of living come into being. So I would definitely say learn, and breath is a very, very easy way. And then the last part, I think, I don't know from where we've gotten this notion that meditation means no thoughts. It's okay. Thoughts come uninvited. We don't get thoughts in. We don't even know where thoughts come from. We become aware of the thoughts after they have come, right? So the point of meditation being thoughtless, yes, there are states in meditation where it can be thoughtless, but it's okay to have thoughts. Just watch them as clouds passing by and not get carried away in the story, right? And that itself, you will realize, will make you feel better after the meditation.
Thank you, Ruchika, for clearing that thought for us, that it's not that you have to be thoughtless while you're meditating, and breathing. I think, like how you mentioned, breathing really helps you to kind of calm yourself down.
You know, it's amazing. If you go back, Avani, I'm sure it's happened with you, but I remember my grandmom saying, take deep breaths in. If you're angry, take 10 breaths in before you say something. And there is wisdom in this, that we're like, oh, only grandmom said it, you know, Nani said it, so it must be scientific. But there's some basis to all of that.
That is so true. In fact, we all need to take a pause and think back, go back in times and think about what our grandparents or even our parents used to tell us. You rightly said there was so much wisdom in all those talks. In fact, listening to you has made me feel as if I was meditating. It was wonderful. It has given me this sense of calm. Just by having this conversation with you.
You're very kind, Avani.
It's lovely talking to you once again, Ruchika. We are going to catch up soon on some of the things that you have talked about.
Thank you so much for having me. And this was so much fun. I love, meditation and the art of living, and all of these practices are very close to my heart. So you can get me to talk about it any time of the day or night. So you've just picked on something that I'm really passionate about. So thank you for that.
Hi, this is Avani from Mom's Talk. Help me spread the word and join me on my mission of motivating other moms by sharing the video. Thank you for watching.